What's popular YouTube? Another day, another news video. That's right. It's Anchor Lau here. Press 1 if I should just become a full-time news reporter because, my God, CS2 has been a gold rush in news. Might as well make a video about it every day. We got a bunch of stuff on the docket, but before we get to that, everybody is the happiest when they're wearing ASON headphones, best CS2 headphones in the market. Look at the live reactions of how happy they are. Only because they're wearing these headphones. Fully stocked up Boxer store at the moment. We've got our last release before Christmas. Stay tuned December 1st. Team Boxer on Twitter and Instagram. We're at launders on Twitter for updates. December 1st, we're going to start collecting emails because we've got one more release before Christmas, and it's going to be really, really special. Okay? All right, so first things first, the end of Evil Geniuses. And one more bit of preamble here. Best little bit of money that I spend every month is subscribing to Richard Lewis on Substack. So much stuff coming out all the time that he is writing. Right now, the topic of interest is the end of Evil Geniuses, okay? Based on this report, it seems like Evil Geniuses are running as a skeleton crew. Shout out to Evil Geniuses, man. Took one of the greatest brands in esports, ran into the ground, and fucked off. Fuck you. This is super frustrating, I think, for everybody in CS, for everybody who's been an esports fan, to see Evil Geniuses. They came in, they tried to be the good guys, they tried to do it right with everyone they hire. They brought in so much capital from outside of esports, and they picked up all these CS teams, and they did fuck all with them. And, we all want to support more money and support coming into the scene, of course. But at the end of the day, if you're tying up people's lives to not run good projects, then are you actually doing more good than harm? I don't know. But either way, kind of tired of seeing Evil Geniuses in the scene. So I'm not going to miss them. I do feel bad for everybody who's lost their jobs, of course. That's a very serious matter. All the players have to find a new team. But what this means is that there is a chance for NRG to have their pick of the litter. 96,000 professional players now on the free agent market, and they can pick it up. If they want to come back into CS, now's the time to do it. With all the EG players up for grabs. That's a free automatic. You know what I'm saying? So, okay. NRG reportedly eyeing a return to Valve Esport with CS2. Why this is interesting is that a lot of teams include, and a lot of people, Nadeshot is another person who's brought this up, but the conversation around sticker money has become so big that, well, it actually seems like sticker money is enough for teams and organizations to participate in CS, right? Regardless of how little support there is from Valve directly, profit sharing, and the absence of other types of support from Valve as a publisher, like you do have in other games, Valve have two things. They figured out, well, fuck that. They maybe haven't even figured it out, okay? But they created good things. They created a good game that is extremely popular, right? So CS and the skins market being huge. And then stickers that come out with majors. Qualifying to a major right now means that you could just keep your organization afloat based on that alone. You know, it's almost entirely merit-based in terms of if you do well enough, you can get the sticker money, stay afloat. Bad News Eagles, for example, I feel like they're not even really looking for an org. Like, at this point, they can qualify to majors themselves, make $500,000, who knows how much money that they're making qualifying to these majors, and then collecting either Challenger or Legends capsule stickers to pay only them and their manager or their coach or whatever, right? But basically just the 5 of them at this point. That is unbelievable for them to be able to do. And I wonder if they even want to find an organization. And for other organizations, they've talked about it publicly. Nadeshot has talked about how much money there is coming out of sticker money. And it just comes back to talking about what is going to help esports in the long term is making good things, and that's it, right? Make a good game that's extremely popular, and everything else will normalize, right? The people who are grifting will get pushed out. The people who are overspending and not actually delivering will get pushed out. There will fail, and it will look ugly, and it will make esports look like it's in a bad place. But at the end of the day, as long as people are watching and as long as the games are good and the players are playing the good things, we have a real thing, things will work out in the end. And I think with CS, it's sticker money formula and the fact that the player base is huge and the CS esports is very strong in terms of how good the game is, like Overwatch or, some other games that are in decline at the moment. This is why some teams are going to come back in and try. It still might be brutal in CS because it's hard to qualify for majors because everyone's so good. But it's nice to know that it might be worth a shot. And there are still regional slots in majors for organizations like NRG to try to come back in. So, okay, that's that. Now we've got this Bubsky tweet. I've tried to ratio Bubsky so many times on Twitter. He usually wins. Okay, 95% of the time he wins. But here's one where he got dunked on a little bit. Well, he said this is basically the case for NiKo. As he just extended his contract at G2. He most likely leveraged a deal with Falcons against them, and G2 felt like they couldn't find a suitable replacement. Probably paid a premium in order to get a re-sign. My bold guess, NiKo now the highest player in the world. Your guess is wrong, is what NiKo said in the replies, which of course tough after writing all that. You know what I'm saying? But I've heard that this is not the. First of all, I've heard that NiKo, on HLTV confirmed, they said that NiKo approached Falcons to join the team. I haven't heard anything about that, but that was what they stated. But I have heard that NiKo's tried to leave G2 in the past. So I don't know. That seems to be news to other people. But I've heard that NiKo's tried to leave G2 in the past. There's probably lots of players that have tried to leave their teams in the past. But I wouldn't be surprised if it was true that he reached out to Falcons based on that. Maybe I have no idea about if he got more money from, getting for creating this kind of competition between G2 and Falcons. But this means an interesting thing for Falcons, right? This means that Falcons don't get the player that they were probably using as leverage to get everybody else. So now that NiKo pick has fallen through, does everybody else who was going to come to Falcons still want to come, right? That's a massive part of everything, right? That was like when EG, what was a team that they almost got with Jax, the European lineup, but then that fell through. You don't really know which domino was first, but that's all that matters. And then nobody else wants to come because it's like, well, are we going to be ruining our career playing out our days on a team that can't get any good players? Or are we going to join NiKo, which means we know this team is being taken seriously. Lots of good players are going to come. So Falcons right now with Zonic have an unbelievable challenge, but a very difficult challenge of creating a team within the next 2 months before the major qualifiers start, with not that much leverage right now to find good players. We don't know where they're going to start, and as I understand it, they're not willing to spend more money than God, like everybody's saying with Saudi oil money and everything like that. They said they're going to spend what they need to, but I don't know if they have the sort of blank check to get anybody they want. So we'll see what happens with Falcons. Zonic, of course, most winning coach in the history of CSGO, and a guy who I think is the right guy to start with when it comes to building the team. Well, now he has his work cut out for him. So we'll see what happens to Team Falcons. But for now, this means that Liquid are not going to be the last bastion against the Falcon super team that was about to take rise. Okay? Now that NiKo's not on the team, that means G2 are still a threat. That means Ents are still a threat. Sorry, are they still getting snappy? They aren't, right? And then that leaves now Liquid have some help. Okay, this KD and Twist, Liquid. Oh yeah, one of the theories I saw from Nero on Twitter. That's what I was going to say. Why don't Falcons buy FaZe in lieu of this? We've got this situation where FaZe are going to get bought up by GameSquare, and GameSquare are owned by the same company that own Complexity and now will own FaZe, which means they won't be able to compete in ESL and Blast at the same time. Why don't Falcons buy FaZe? FaZe costs $17 million. That's NiKo's starting bonus, I heard, joining Team Falcons. So why don't they buy FaZe? They can get 4/5 of FaZe with Twist going to Liquid, and then keep Magisk, who came over from Vitality, probably excited to play with NiKo, and then have an Unreal team. And it actually, Twist for Magisk sounds like a perfect fit. Yeah, that was a pretty good sort of theory craft as to what Falcons could do. in light of the situation. So it might be an interesting end for FaZe. I don't really know if that's a possible option, but lots of stuff is probably under development. Lots of talks are probably being had. So, okay. Whoa. Tom Cruise. Everyone was saying The Last Samurai. Okay. We've got better information that this is sort of device in an ancient Chinese garb. Okay. And everybody else in the photos who's also in it. What an amazing pic right here. I really miss going to China, man. I like it. It's such a massive and different world. I've been there for WESG twice and Star Ladder major qualifier, I believe, in Shanghai. And it's just different out there. Like, it is such a different world. It's so crazy. Getting on the highway when you land out of the airport, and then just going through, just understanding how vast this place is, getting to another city, like landing and going to Shanghai. And I remember just like looking out and literally seeing like cities being built in the far distance, like hundreds of miles. And I'm like, this is fucking nuts. Like, it felt like I was in Jurassic Park or something with how far I could see. It was the same feeling sort of as being in Rio. But I miss just going to Asia in general for CS. Take me back, man. I Europe's amazing. I'm really glad that we get to go to Europe most of the time, it being only like a 7-8 hour flight. But man, I really miss doing events in Asia. My dream is for CS to be played in every country. Okay. And I understand some people have problems with that. I don't visit countries to visit their governments. I visit countries to visit people, to understand everything about the way people are living out there. And yeah, for me, I don't care where it is. I want to go. I want something different everywhere. I'm an explorer. Okay. So it's cool that we've got this event going on, in my opinion. I hope that there's more of it. And I hope we just get more diversity in where we get lands all over the world. New places everywhere. Okay. All right. Why did I bring up this article? Oh, yeah, as a comment. He likes that the op is not as OP as it was in CSGO. People were like, ha, you sure, Device? As somebody who was one of the best oppers in the history of the game, you really like this change? And I actually believe him when he says this. I think Device, he backs himself in terms of his skill, regardless of the weapon he's using. And I think that the op is frustrating even when you have to play against it. So just because you're one of the best oppers doesn't make your life that much more fun, just because you're really good with it. You start to play against it all the time. You don't always have it yourself. So maybe it's just a fresh meta that's interesting. And a lot of people agree the op was too strong, maybe in CSGO. I think Thorin had a really good point about the op. At first, I always thought he was crazy for saying this, where he was like, if the op is so strong, then how come not everyone's good with it? And it's like, well, like every shitter tries to pick up the op, and they can always do better with the op than rifles. But when you look at the HLTV top 20, all the best players on average of all time, the elite oppers, a lot of people would agree, the Vice, Zaiwu, Simple. A lot of those players who are in that tier would also be top 5 with a rifle. That's how most people feel. And I think that after that, you get a pretty steep drop off, right? Between those players and the other great oppers. They're not like breaching top 5 every time the HLTV top 20 rolls around. So it does mean that the best players with an op will be the best players in the world, and have been for the late stage CSGO ever since Coldzera was #1 twice with a rifle. But it's not to say that opping is necessarily easy. So yes, maybe this could be cool. I'm looking forward to it. If we get will we get a rifle? Let me know in the comments. Will we get a rifle top 1 2024? Donk, baby. Let us know. All right. Messi invests in organization. He invests in crew, planning to enter CS2. This confirms Messi as the undisputed soccer GOAT. Better than Pele, better than Ronaldo, better than Mbappe, better than Neymar and his son, better than Ronaldinho, I think is another one. All of them. Messi investing in CS2. Beautiful. Love that. Okay. DJL, we built the team around Alex. This is Cap. They try to get Katie in. I mean, he's got to say something. I'm sure he's, proud to have Alex and everything, but they try to get Katie in, so that didn't work out. If you're no hard feelings, if you're Cadian and you have the choice between Nip and Liquid, Liquid have power over most orgs in the world, so it's not, they're a super org. It's a different tier. So not surprised that happened. But that's it for the news today. I hope you enjoyed that one. If you want me to do more news, let me know. And yeah, head on over to the Boxer store, get some nice for you. Okay, for the holidays. Merry Christmas. I'll see you guys. I'm gonna have a very busy next couple of months, so it'll be less news videos. I won't be home. I'm gonna be a lot of traveling. I'm gonna go to the Esports Award. Oh, shout out to me. I'm nominated for Color Commentator of the Year. Not what you think. Okay, it is merit based. All right, Color Commentator. They fill in the lines. Okay, play by play draws the outline. Okay, I'm tired of the joke, guys. Scrawny's up for play by play Commentator of the Year. Go ahead and vote for him. He draws the outline of the round. He speaks Japanese for the first minute and a half, and then when he's done talking, I color it in. Okay, it's not because I'm brown that I'm nominated for Color Commentator of the Year. It's a role, guys. It's a role. It's existed long before esports. Google is your friend. All right. Okay, I'm going to be there in Vegas to collect my award. If you guys vote for me, and maybe I can do it, I'll give you a shout out. And then after that, I've got the World Final. I might have another event before that, and then we've got a massive box release at the end of the month, with something with ASON as well. So stay tuned, okay? And follow everybody on Twitter. Thank you for watching. Bye-bye.